When people think about logging, particularly tropical timber, they think about clear-cut forests. So where there were forests, now there's nothing. Now, obviously when that happens, that's a bad thing, but typically, particularly these days, in the tropical forestry sector, that's not how things are done. And when you look at previously logged forests, often it's hard to actually tell to the untrained eye how that's different from primary forest. Not to say they're not different, but it's often hard to tell. So over the last 10, 15 years, you've seen changes in the forestry sector for uptake of perhaps more sustainable practices that have less impact on wildlife and their habitats. Not no impact, but less impact, and that's a change for the better. I wouldn't want to get across the idea that everything is rosy with the tropical forestry sector, but there are certain progressive companies and that there are certain, and that those can, if you can influence best practice there, that you can hopefully raise the bar, not just with those companies, but across the sector. Now that isn't to say that job's been done, but certainly there has been progress over the sort of last 15, 20 years. In terms of where apes are found, obviously you're looking at tropical forests, largely West and Central Africa, which is my own personal experience. And also you're looking at the orangs in Indonesia and also Malaysia. Going back to my own personal experience in the Congo Basin, if you look at the subspecies of apes like the central chimpanzee, the western lowland gorilla, an analysis that we did for the State of the Apes publication shows that almost 50% of the range of those two subspecies is allocated to timber concessions. And if you're not looking at how those timber concessions are managed, then you're really not looking at how you're going to conserve those species. The direct impacts are the ones that seem most obvious to you, as in you're removing trees, and the action of removing those trees from the forest perhaps damages other trees and so on. You're putting in roads that are perhaps damaging or degrading habitat. But often those are actually, although they're impacts that do adversely affect apes and other wildlife, it's often the indirect impacts of timber operations and other extractive industries or human activities in forests, which open up the forest, open it up to commercial hunting, to inward migration of people, whether those are people coming to the industries themselves or whether those are people just coming to business opportunities. And then once you've got a lot of people, somewhere where previously there weren't a lot of people, they'll often have increased hunting and even commercial hunting where it takes wildlife away to far off cities and things, and that's perhaps the biggest adverse impact on apes.